In this video, I want to show you how Kuch and MacKinnon actually move very similarly. And we don't normally compare these two players because Kuch is a lefty and MacKinnon is a righty, but when we do flip them to be the same hand, we can see that their movement is actually very similar. Now, what most people in hockey teach and coach is this phase here, the acceleration phase. So MacKinnon is accelerating, Kuch is accelerating, and a lot of coaching is really focused on that acceleration phase and off-ice training, all those things. But what isn't talked about is the deceleration phase. So how do these players, once they get to speed, control their speed and move laterally so that they can beat defenders and then finish on the net with control? You see a lot of players who just have that acceleration mindset and those acceleration mechanics in mind. They lose control here. They run themselves out of space, they can't move laterally, and then they just run themselves basically right into the corner. And if you want to understand how not to do this, then you need to understand the mechanics that these top players are using. And we'll highlight those here and how they're very similar. So we see from both of them, they're both attacking on an arc, like so, and they have a cross for their acceleration component. Then what happens is, while the defender setup is a little different, it's still similar. They both get themselves wide into that tripod stance that we call a corkscrew. And what we see is we can see a very obvious anchor from MacKinnon here, and it's more subtle from Kuch. But what's happening in this is there's a bit of external rotation. So external rotation means the toe faces out rather than facing in. And that's the first thing. The second thing is the weights to the heels, and this foot drags in a little bit. It adducts, and that slows a player down. And in slowing the player down, it allows them to be able to slow their speed so they're not going quite as fast, and allows them to move laterally. And you can see that with MacKinnon here. He's going to end up being able to move laterally because he slows himself down. This is what top players do to decelerate, to give themselves more control. So that's the first thing, is you can see them both actually pulling their leg this way as they are decelerating and moving laterally. Then what you'll see is a opposing stabilization foot. So the other foot now stabilizes, again, weight to the heel, and it's going to also adduct and pull this way to be able to help control speed and allow the players to move laterally. Now, in MacKinnon's case, if we look up top here, what we'll see is that pulling, this external rotation, this dragging, slows him down enough to be able to get his hands in the right place, see the goalie, and then tuck it upstairs. In Kucherov's case, what we see is, again, this stabilization, pulling. What that allows him to do is it allows him to get the balance needed to get a really nice backhand off to the far side. Again, you can see that pulling that happened to move that foot across. So while most players and coaches really focus on that acceleration phase, right, from here onwards, which is great and needed and important, the best players in the world seem to naturally have learned these mechanics, but they are reverse engineerable